In today's era of heterogeneous computing, where there's a mixture of CPU, GPU, and FPGA, DSP, and so on, compute harder. You might have heard of this data parallel C++ or DPC++ for short. It is an extended form of C++. So the prominent player in this field is the one from Intel called the oneAPI. And if you browse this oneAPI technology from Intel, you might get lost because it's a jungle. Okay, let me show you what happened when I started exploring this. First, I was minimalistic, so I downloaded the compiler. Okay, so I downloaded this one, the DPC++ compiler only. But then I found out that that one could not talk, could not talk to Visual Studio IDE. I could not. I wanted to use my GPU NVIDIA in my laptop. It could not do it. Could not do it. If you download the CPU compiler, then you'll only be compiling for your CPU, and you cannot retarget to your graphics card. So after a few hours, I little later learned that what you need to download instead is the base toolkit. This is the minimum that you need to download in order to set to have your setup ready. Okay, so install the oneAPI base toolkit. The base toolkit includes these following components. It has the compiler and other stuff like neural networks and machine learning, cryptography, etc. So select this Intel oneAPI based toolkit. Either you select Windows or Linux, and then offline installer. Supply your email address and your region, and you will have the installer. You will have this executable installer here. Now, once you install this, it will integrate into your Visual Studio 2022 IDE or 2019, and it will integrate there. But it will not be able to, you will not be able to retarget to your NVIDIA graphics CUDA. In order to retarget to CUDA, you need another plugin to install, and that installer is here, oneAPI for NVIDIA GPUs. This is from another company called CodePlay. So this one here. So this is the one, the CodePlay, that bridges the works together with the Intel oneAPI and bridges the gap between the Intel oneAPI with NVIDIA CUDA. So select this getting started graphics for NVIDIA GPUs, and then download. So and then do the download. Okay, here. Anyway, this is for Linux, and do the download for Windows. To cut the story short, once you do that, you will have this installer here, which I highlighted. Uh, Double click that, and it will be add some DLLs into your oneAPI installation folder. So once that's set up, open Visual Studio here, and then let us try to create a new project. So if you select here, you will see that there is a new entry, DPC++. Select that, and you have a console application. Next, and okay, just click accept the default. And there will be an example project here. So this one is in data parallel C++. It is C++, but with added extension to be to be able to do parallel programming. So see, parallel 4. So this is This is what is Intel One API all about. Okay, so it's there. This is an example. So for those of you who are familiar with CUDA, so you will find some similarities. In, basically, this is all about parallel programming. So this applies to data structures that are embarrassingly parallelizable, right? So like, I will not dive deep into these basics, but you should be familiar with these concepts like kernel and submit, and you should be aware that this only works if the data structure is embarrassingly parallelizable. Anyway, this is the example, but right now you cannot execute it. What you need to do after loading the project is you right click to this project here and select this Intel compiler and use Intel One API compiler. Okay, so it is configuring the project to use the compiler from Intel. And after doing that, you right click again and then go to properties. And then this is Intel C++ compiler, but the one that is example that we loaded is a data parallel C++. So select this one here, DPC++, apply and OK. So let us try to rebuild the project. Succeeded, but even at this point, you could not run it. For some reason, the default engine that is picked up by Visual Studio is the one, in my case here is the one in the Intel graphics of, of my laptop. Let me open a DOS prompt here. Okay, let me open a new DOS prompt. So since we installed the data parallel C++, we need to set an environment variable. The installation is here, and there's a seed bars. Okay. After setting the environment variable, it will be available to you the C++ compiler, ICPX, this one. And there are also some utility tools like SICLLS. So we enumerated BALS and we found that there are three compute engines in my laptop. The first one is the CPU. The second one is the Intel graphics. And the third one is my gaming card, the graphics card from NVIDIA. So the DPC++ can target execution to each of these hardware. For some reason, if I target the execution to the one in the Intel graphics, there's some error, it will not run. There's an access violation, I don't know why. So I can only target to the CPU and to the GPU. Okay, so here, if we run this, let me run if we run F5 start or this one, see, you can see that it is targeting the graphics card of Intel, but somehow it will crash. There will be an access violation here. Or it will hang. For some reason, it will hang. But then what we need to do is to retarget to the CPU. So go here and properties, DPC++, general, here, and then this one, instead of default, select this one. It might differ in your case, but in my case, this is the one that targets the CPU. Okay, apply and rebuild. So I will run again. This one. You see, whereas before it was targeting the Intel graphics card, this time it's targeting the Intel CPU, and we calculated the vector computation. However, I could not, for some reason, I could not do it to retarget to my NVIDIA card. Okay, there's no option to retarget to NVIDIA, but I was able to do that in the command line. So here, so I will go to the code, and so this is the C++ code. I can compile this in the command line, not in Visual Studio. So the command to compile that I put in my note here, and this is how I found out to retarget to NVIDIA. So I'll change this to the following. So we're compiling now in the command line, and we have an executable. And if you run this, you can see that it is targeting the NVIDIA graphics card. So for some reason, I could not do that in the IDE. I'll try to explore further what's the correct setting. You can also step debug here. So let's put a breakpoint, and I'll press debug. See? So, well, we are able to do this because we are targeting the CPU, right? So, but I wonder how it would look like if we're targeting the the NVIDIA graphics card, since it's a different hardware. So we're done. And this is the message. All right, so I also created a GitHub repo here to summarize what I found out. So this one. So this is an example code to sum the squares of the array, and I put some in the README. So this one compiles to Intel graphics. This one compiles targeting to the Intel CPU, and this is the one to target the NVIDIA GPU. But for some reason, in the with Visual Studio IDE, I can only uh, target it to the CPU, and I can stop debug using the CPU. That is all for Intel oneAPI.